Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Trevor. No Con today. He's in New York.
The Big Apple.
He, starts spreading the news. New York, New York. Connor's there. That's basically all I have to say about that.
That's basically it.
Worlds Week. Worlds went down last weekend. Just one heck of a record-breaking weekend in a number of spots.
Last weekend feels like a really distant way to describe yesterday. Like it was basically.
Yeah, but it's the whole past week.
I know. Like
Friday,
I'm trying to think.
It was just yesterday as well. But
like, I know we can't say this weekend. Can you still? I feel like Monday you should still be able to say this weekend.
This past weekend.
This past weekend. That sounds better.
Okay. This past weekend.
It was like the whole week.
Yeah. World started on Wednesday, ran through Sunday, 5 rounds of just all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
5 rounds is a long time. I
want to start with the first kind of record-breaking thing, which is the venue and this event as a whole. By the weekend, there was an estimated 10,000 spectators on the ground. I actually thought it was funny. Owen, when she won, spoiler alert, when she won.
Spoiler shield.
You're
good.
There we go. I'm good now. She was talking in an interview after and was like, I mean, it was crazy playing in front of it had to be at least like 500 or 600 people. And Valerie Jenkins like, maybe even more than that, Owen, but probably a few thousand.
Well, how many people were following the FPO lead? It looked like
it was a lot. It looked like a solid 3, 4, 5 grand.
Well, we always say, Grant, can we describe people as Grant?
I don't know. I was gonna let it just roll off because you were going.
I will say, with that venue, it is deceptive because, like, at any moment, you might look to your left and right and think a few hundred people. That's because the hole is lined. Like, they line
and they're like 10
out
deep.
there. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
When Owen tapped out, there's probably 500 people in the grandstands.
Yeah,
alone.
There's a lot of people.
But I did think it was funny that she was just like, there was 500 or 600 people out there, and it was like, Owen, we can all like. Typically, if I heard a player say that, I'd be like, oh wow, they must have all been watching just her. But it's like, no, we could tell. There was thousands of people, and by MPO lead, it was a zoo out there. It was crazy. Like they were showing clips that I think it was when coverage started. They were showing like hole 2 was all of hole 1. Obviously, you can't really line hole 1, but there was all the grandstands and everything on hole 1. And then hole 2 was fully lined, like 5 or 6 players deep when like third card was teeing off.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like everyone was just waiting for this. It was, everything that was expected came to fruition. Basically, like UC Maresma and his team over there, we knew what was coming. We knew they're about to put on a Worlds like we've never seen and that we won't see for a while again, probably, to be honest. And that's exactly what they did.
Did the tournament overshadow the opening ceremonies, though, with the trumpet?
No, nothing can overshadow
don't think you can,
the trumpet, yeah.
Set
If you didn't see it, don't click on it. Just don't do it. Your life is better without seeing it. But man, it was one heck of a weekend. It was awesome. I was very jealous that I wasn't out there, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. We'll get over to Europe eventually.
It was tough to wake up to Kyle Sennett throwing that course.
Yeah, the Liberty Disc Golf team here, several of them went over, and so we saw they have pictures and posts. Several of our employees were over there.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Tough.
Yeah. Awesome weekend as far as the event and ground crew, all of that stuff goes. It looked like a blast out there, and like I said, something that disc golf might not see again for who knows how long. Because that was like a full-on professionally run event.
Well, we'll probably see it next year if the European Open is.
Well, but I don't think it won't be as big. European Open never looked like that.
Not quite, but if it's the only I feel like it just keeps growing over there too. Like I do think this was obviously a bigger one a little bit, but like
I think it was like double the spectators
of European Open.
I'm pretty sure European Open's normally around 5,000 to 6,000. This was 10.
I also don't like the numbers thing. Is so hard to guesstimate. You really can't get a feel for it unless you're on the ground because we hear numbers, and then sometimes when you're on the ground and it's like if you go to any sporting event. Because there's also a difference between tickets sold and how many people actually show up. Like sometimes you go to an event and the seats look empty and they announce the attendance and you're like, you're lying. Like that's not true because it sounds better. And so I'd be curious, it's so hard to get a gauge of those things, just even watching coverage. Like you have to really be there to be like, okay, I know how many people were supposed to be at this. Compared to another event I was at, it's hard to get that feel for it.
Yeah. Well, it should have been like twice as big as USDGC. And I think European Open typically is around the same or slightly bigger.
Yeah.
But twice as big has never happened before. So let's jump into FPO. Okay. So In result, we had Owen Scoggins taking it down, becoming the first player in history to win a Masters and Open world title in the same year. So she is now your current reigning world champion in FP40 and in FPO. She did it in a playoff against Ida, who Ida is a 15-year-old. So what was fascinating was in the playoff, we had a 30-year disparity from 45-year-old Owen Scoggins to 30-year-old or 15-year-old Ida. And basically when the playoff happened, whoever won was breaking a record because it was either the youngest ever FPO champion or the oldest ever FPO champion.
Fun fact, Kenny was 38 when he won his final world title, so he would have been somebody who could have maybe been close to that, and he still had 2 more years before he would have been eligible for Masters.
Yeah, depending on his birthday, maybe one, but still. Because you can sometimes play Masters when you're 39.
Right,
but
right.
yeah. But Owen is, she's a 5 times Masters title, so it's not like this was, she finally played Masters Worlds in the first year she did it both. No, she's won 5 Masters Worlds in a row and then just took this one down. And then you had Ella Hansen and Hannah Blomers tied for third. The first storyline that kind of emerged out of FPO, though, was earlier in the week, which was Kristen Lott ends with a DNF. So it all started with, after round 1, you have this interview with Kristen where she's basically breaking down after round 1.
She had another awful putting performance.
Yes, her putting followed her in. And so this is the transcripts. Basically, the reporter, which I believe was Nate Perkins, but doesn't matter. Reporter said, "Can you just talk about the performance out there, how the round went?" And Kristen said, yeah, I mean, I have the same problems that I've had for a long time, so nothing's changed. Unfortunately, so didn't feel good at all, didn't sleep at all. So it's a hard week for me. And Perkins again said, so then moving into the rest of the week, what do you plan to do between rounds? Kristen laughed and said, I don't even know. I just want to survive, honestly. It's been so hard. And this is the part where she kind of starts to cry and said, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can finish the tournament or if I cannot. I don't know because I have such severe anxiety. It's just hard to cope. And then Perkins said, Kristen, thank you so much for giving us your time. We'll see you tomorrow. And Kristen said, thanks. But at this point, she was crying. So that's after round 1. And then
I will say, the transcript of this is a little criminal because it says thanks, barely audible.
Yeah, it wasn't
tears.
barely audible.
She was not crying that hard.
She was just starting to cry.
She was definitely a little shaken up, but this transcript, I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, she was bawling on this interview. And then I watched it and I was like, no, she wasn't.
No, she was definitely broken up.
It's a little bit,
but it was not that dramatic.
There.
Because, round 1, Kristen shot
she
even
was
par.
6 back.
She was 6 strokes back.
Because I was thinking, okay, putting was awful, but if she can get it marginally better, just she can get back into this tournament, but
round 2 she shot 3 over. Yeah. Round 3 she shot 4 over, and I believe that is when she DNFs. Is after that round. So yeah, after that round she DNF'd, and then she posted on her Instagram going into the final round. Before the final round, she said, after long deliberation, I decided not to continue playing the World Championships. It's not a choice I made lightly, but it came from a place of true longing of needing time off. This hasn't happened overnight. I've been putting a Band-Aid to this part of myself for years, pushing forward, assuming this feeling would fade away. But with all the hardship I faced over the past 2 months, this Band-Aid has been ripped off, showing that this part of me needs attention. It might just be the most loving choice I've made in my career. Thank you all for the overflowing love I've received. I see you and love you too, and I'm rooting for all the players in the tournament and for this historic event to have a truly amazing final day. And so there is clearly, obviously, we've seen what's going on the course, and all the information we had over the past month or two, obviously, was the broken toe and her putt's gone. And then it was very clear that she has a case of the yips on the course because, when a player who is this consistent, this good, misses putts that are that short, right? We're talking, at the European Disc Golf Festival, she 3-putted from 15 feet, right? When you're talking, that is purely mental. There is nothing physical. She could balance on 1 foot and throw that in the basket and be fine. So we knew, okay, this is a mental situation. And the yips, it's not always something going on off the course, but reading between the lines in all of her Instagram posts, it definitely seems like something's going on outside of disc golf that is affecting her. And then I think once it started affecting her, you then have the pile-on effect of, and part of it is the media's fault, our fault, but Kristen was on a pedestal at FPO of Mrs. Untouchable. It seemed like, at least to me, it felt like she was just going to if she just maintained the level of consistency she had, she was going to win more times than not when she stepped on the course, because that's what she'd done for years. She was going to find herself in the top 5 every single weekend because, again, that's what she had done for years. So there was this, stigma around it of when Kristen walked in, it was basically like, is Kristen winning or is she losing? There wasn't someone who was going to beat her. That started to fall apart somewhat this year. And then she, at the end of the day, really did still beat herself because really it was the missed putts and stuff like that led to her even more drastic fall off that we've seen in short time. And honestly, I think that it was probably the pressure of she felt like people still expected a lot from her and still expected her to play, that she even made it into round 3 of Worlds before taking time off, because it's pretty obvious she needed a break. I think it was a really tough time to need a break because, whatever is going on, obviously, like, if everything's going smoothly, this isn't that grueling of a schedule. But when stuff is going wrong and you do, she needed a mental break from the noise, a mental break from disc golf, whatever it might be. And she probably should have taken it a few months ago, a month or two ago. And then she might have been coming back at Worlds right now, and she might be feeling, completely normal, and she might be the world champion right now. But instead, I think she was pushing into this European stretch where you're going to have back-to-back majors. I mean, even U.S. Women's was not that long ago. I mean, they played 3 majors in the course of 3 months here. So it was like there wasn't time to take a break. And I think that we kind of saw what was maybe a few months ago a smaller issue. She forced herself through. And now, next thing you know, it's compounded to, I don't know when we'll see Kristen again. She's supposed to be playing the World Games this upcoming weekend, I believe, in China, if I'm not mistaken. I would imagine she's not going to be playing that. Obviously, that's not a PDGA-sanctioned thing, I don't believe, but it's not on the Pro Tour at least. She's not going to be playing that, I would imagine. And I don't know if we'll see her the rest of the season. This might be the last time we saw Kristen this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole situation. Yeah, you never want to see somebody struggling that way. It's hard to weigh. Yeah, who knows? You're right. Something could be going on behind the scenes, or it could just be her mounting a lot of pressure on herself. Because one thing is, we have expectations for Kristen, but as far as the media's relationship with Kristen, Kristen gets all love, really. We'll comment when she has a bad putting performance, but it's not like Kristen is gets dragged through the media. People want to see Kristen at her best, and she gets all the fan support in the world. So I think it really is the pressure that she puts on herself to meet those expectations. Yeah. And when you're struggling with the putt, and I mean, we'll get to the rest of what FPO was doing with the putters. It is very embarrassing thing to go through, because it looks like the simplest thing ever. And so that can really just tear down your professional feeling and image on the course when you feel like you can't do the simplest thing. I mean, at any level of disc golf, people have been through it where it's I feel like I'm pretty good at disc golf, but then I look like a dummy on the putting green. And so it'll really beat you up. And I do think a break is needed, and I do think with the putting yips in particular, you can recover that. We talk about putting yips with somebody like Evelina or Henna. They never were awesome putters. Yeah. And if they were, it was before we saw them on the pro scene. Kristen, because it is in there somewhere, that it's not unrecoverable. We've seen other players get the yips and get out of it, but it is very difficult. But I will say, hitting rock bottom is actually the best thing you can do, because you have to mentally reset your expectations. For her to get better, I really think she's going to have to go into the next tournament she plays thinking, I am a 40% putter. I'm going to improve on that. Because I think right now it's I'm supposed to be an 85% C1X putter, and I'm missing all these putts. I can't be missing these putts. I think you have to mentally reset and say, no, my body of work recently is that I'm a 40% putter, and today I'm gonna try to putt 50%. Next day I'm gonna try to get. You got to work your way up to that, so that when you do miss a bad putt, it's not the end of the world. Because I think with those struggles on the course, you have to almost get to rock bottom, and for her it just happened to be a very long plummet because she was the best of the best. but it's this can still be a very short
say,
window of time.
Even what's very long right now is still half a season, not even half a season.
Yeah, had she played out this tournament and been able to finish, like she probably still could have taken like a top 20. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
It's not some
but
like
I'm saying
crazy thing.
The long stretch that feels like an eternity right now. If Kristen takes 2 months off and comes back for the playoffs, right? Or what would that be, like a month and a half off and comes back for the playoffs, and all of a sudden she's a 65% C1X putter. Like 65 to 70% is literally for Kristen at some of these tournaments what it would take for her to win. Yeah. So if she does that and she pops off a few wins, next thing you know, that confidence back, and
it'd be interesting.
It could be something where like 3 years ago we'd be like, remember when Kristen had the yips for like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like it feels like a long time because we're in it right now, but it might not actually be that long. And I will say the other side, as someone who does suck at putting and does it on a public stage very regularly, it's something where like Evelina and Henna, right, are the best examples in FPO of players who have been bad putters for a long time. And Evelina's been able to find success with it. And I think the difference is Evelina has already missed the putt. You know what I mean? Like she's already thrown the shockingly embarrassing putt.
You become numb to it.
Yeah, because like as funny as it sounds, right, for us, we will go sometimes and play a bogey brew battle or something like that, and there will be a gallery there. And the first few times, it was like a lot of pressure on like 15-foot putts and stuff. And if I missed one, all I felt was shame and embarrassment. Nowadays, I'm just like, well, I know it's going to happen at some point. You know what I mean? Like, of course I missed it. Like, everyone here knows. And it's almost like you show up and you know, everyone here knows I'm a bad putter. So there's nothing I can do. And it's almost freeing to a certain extent. Yeah. So, like, that's where Evelina and Henna are playing from is like, there's literally nothing as we'll talk about.
I don't think Henna's figured that part out yet.
Maybe not.
Evelina has a little bit more to where, like, she's just kind of trying to throw a decent putt towards the basket and whatever happens. But,
like, there's nothing Evelina or Henna can do that shock us versus Kristen.
She should not sink to that level, though.
No. I'm saying Kristen, where she's at right now, she's putting honestly better than Henna is currently. As we look at Henna's fourth round stats, gosh, but Kristen has this expectation of like she feels the shame and embarrassment, and then that's what allows it to like snowball. Because she's like everyone's expecting, and I'm expecting myself to make this putt. Whereas like when you've been missing it for years, like Evelina can go step up to hole 9 in the final round.
You should be so lucky to feel that embarrassment, man. I haven't felt that in years.
Yeah, but I'm saying that is something where like there's levels to this game, right? And Evelina's been at this level for a while, to where Evelina can putt and airball 25 feet to the right.
There's levels to the game of being sucky at putting,
and she can walk up and probably nail the comeback putt because she's like, we knew that was gonna happen, right?
We should write a book on this, how to be bad at putting and be good at it.
How
to be good at bad at putting.
That's where I think it's breaking Kristen, and it's like we see other FPO players not dealing with it in the same levels. Because,
no, it's not a part of her psyche, whereas the other players, like, they absorb it like a sponge at this point.
Yeah.
Because you have to. But, like, that being said, like, Kristen should not, like, I think it's good to hit rock bottom a little bit to work back up, but like she shouldn't try to stay down there.
No, you don't want to stay at rock bottom. But I'm saying to build from it, she's got to first just shake the embarrassment and be like, look.
Yeah, you have to come to some point of acceptance of like things are going to happen that are like
it's going to be shocking for a second, but like just shake it off.
Because if you can. Anyways,
let's jump into the tournament.
That was mental health with the boys.
Yeah, let's jump into the tournament now. There was moments of greatness.
That was a great assault.
There's moments of greatness in FPO for sure, but there was also some not so great moments out there.
Do we have to go like player by player and describe like how they lost the tournament?
No, I was just going to kind of walk us through. Well, first off, coming into this week, I think literally, funny enough, and this is probably on me, I probably jinxed it. Funny enough, I think on the previous show I said Silva, Evelina, Missy, Holland, Kristen. And I think I said, like, we know one of those 5 players is winning Worlds.
Oh, I'm sure we said
I think I said something along those lines.
I'd say your odds were pretty good.
And none of those players came within 12 strokes. 10 strokes of winning Worlds. Silva was 10 out. She was the closest. So that was, like, problem number 1 with this weekend is Silva, like, consistently, a lot of these players are in contention every week in FPO. I mean, Holland Hanley, this is her first finish outside the top 5 this year, I believe. None of them showed up, right? So, like, Silva at some point showed up. She was kind of lurking like all weekend.
She was your guaranteed winner
all week
after
in
round
here.
3.
Yeah, all week I was like, Silva won this tournament.
Which after round 3 is looking pretty good. She's only 4 back.
I just kept looking at it and I'm like, I in my opinion, I said, and after round 4 I thought I was right. I said Owen Scoggins is not gonna be able to play the beast. I think that I thought she was in the lead after round 3, tied with Ida, because the monster, I think, worked a little better for Own's game than the beast would.
Yeah,
I
it was a good line of thought.
Other players, I knew, and I was right about this one, that Henna's putt would not hold. Like I was like, Henna will not win. I just said there was no chance in my mind Henna was going to win.
No.
And then I thought Ida, this is round 3, I hadn't really seen much. I was like, Ida and Own, like I said, Own already walked through. I thought Ida was kind of like the fraud lead. Sometimes you get a fraud lead, where it's just like a player that you're like, they're not going to be able to hold on. And that left Silva Saarinen.
Call me a sicko, but what I would have given to have Henna have the putt that Own had for the win eventually. Oh, my.
Yeah, that would have been something to watch.
It would have been a spectacle for the A's. Make or miss.
But then round 4 is kind of when things start getting juicy, right? So round 4, everyone starts slow. Bad weather, rain, all of this. Everyone's like, Silva Saarinen's really struggling out there. Everyone starts slow except for Ida.
The 15-year-old phenom.
The 15-year-old who just opened up. She was 6 under through the front 9, when at this point Silva Saarinen was 2, 4, like 3 or 4 over through the front 9. Henna was 3 over, 4 over through the front 9. Own was 5 over the front. Like she was. It looked like she was playing a different event out there. It was crazy. She was beating up everyone, and she held on to that. I legitimately think she had a 12-stroke lead, if I'm not mistaken.
It was 10 or 12,
going into hole 16. And
she was at 16, and was it 16 and 6 or 16 and 4?
I believe it was a 12-stroke lead.
Yeah, it might have been.
I believe it was a 12-stroke lead. And what was funny about this is on this day, I woke up around 4:45 a.m. to go for a run.
No, it definitely was, because with the 10-stroke swing, it
made it too. I woke up, checked my phone, right? Because this is what I did every morning. Checked my phone, and I saw FPO scores, and I watched a little bit of FPO coverage as I was eating my pre-run and all of that, getting ready to go. And they were on hole 13 or 14. And I was like, Ida just won this thing. Yeah. She's going to go into the final round with 10-stroke lead is what I was thinking. And I go for my run, and then Brody texts.
He said
something about
here we go.
Here we go. And I was
here it goes.
What is going on?
Yeah, I had just tuned in at this point as well.
I was like, what do you mean, here we go? And then I was like, is Ida blowing up? And then he texts again, and he's like, a few more of these is going to be a ball game. And I was like, what is going on? And so then I finally checked my phone and realized Ida took a 13 on hole 16, round 4, 10-stroke swing with Henna, 9-stroke swing with Owen Scoggins, and all of a sudden, the first half of this day, the first 3 quarters of this day meant nothing.
I know. I literally was just thinking to myself, does the existence of hole 16 for this FPO field, didn't happen a ton of times, and this is really the one that mattered. Obviously, Missy took, I think, a 14 in
day one.
Yeah. But it kind of felt like one of those things where, does the existence of this hole just mean that the rest of this tournament doesn't matter? Because, somebody could take an infinite number out here.
That's the argument people always have against it, but for the entire tournament, hole 16 at Nokia played .63 over par.
If you can't throw that up shot, I'm sorry.
I think that's
you have to get one in bounds.
That's the big thing is just it's a pressure cooker, right?
Yeah,
and
it's compound interest.
Yeah.
It gets worse and worse.
And so that's where I love the hole because it just it is never over. Moments like this can happen. Well, so then Ida gains composure, birdies hole 17, holds on to a 1-stroke lead going into the final round. Also note, after round 3, Ida and Own came out of the monster at 10 under par. They go out of round 4 at Ida's at 9 under, Henna's at 8 under, Own's at 5 under. And then Evelina was at 3 under. And it felt like all of them were very much in.
Yeah, and Ella was at 3 over. Keep that in mind.
Ella Hansen was at 3 over par. She shot 4 over at the Beast on round 4. Now we go into the finals. Now in the finals, it's kind of a little all over the place, right? So you come out and Henna starts to open up a lead a little bit, but her putt was a liability. It was just a matter of time. I mean, we unfortunately for Henna during this tournament, because at the European Disc Golf Championships, not the European Disc Golf Festival, the one that happened before that, there was this putt. It was crazy windy, and the theory was that the wind knocked the putter out of Henna's hand.
Because if you didn't see it, she basically her arm moved forward and the disc stayed there and then just kind of blew off to the side.
Yeah, and so
it was was that the wind?
That was the theory. Is the only way that could happen is the wind blew it out of her hand. Unfortunately, it happens again. And so
wasn't the wind.
We learned it wasn't the wind. I don't know what Henna is
if
doing.
If you watch her, like,
I think she is thinking, I have to release.
Her up shots, she gets really jammy and like you can tell she's kind of nervy about it, and it's really jerky almost. And I think she just either tries to stop at the last second, like can't commit, or she just opens her hand too early. But like literally, her hand goes forward and the disc just falls to the ground.
Yeah, because like the front nine, the front nine, she's actually starts off 4 under on the front nine. And so, but it's in crunch time, things get bad. I mean, she ended up the day final round at 25% C1X putting, 0% C2.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna start with Henna, her ultimate bow out of the tournament was the fact that she had a less than 10 footer for par on 17 and missed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Still could have won.
Henna, she lost by 1 to be clear.
Yeah,
because even if she birdied hole 18, she would have been in the playoff.
That's crazy, man.
But she didn't. She threw OB and
If her and Evelina, man,
if they could putt. Because even Evelina, what was Evelina's final round stat? 50% C1X final round. She missed 8 C1X putts, and to be fair, she lost by 12.
She didn't throw well in the final round either. No. But she was in it before then.
But Henna just, her putt was never going to let her win it, unfortunately. So then, meanwhile, Ella Hansen absolutely scorched this course.
Crazy round.
Now, reminder, okay, 10 under is what got to the playoff. Ella Hansen shot 12 under in the final round, but she was at 13 under going into hole 18. So she was at 10 under, the number she needed to be at going into hole 18.
Which she didn't know.
Because obviously the lead card wasn't on 18. But all she actually needed was a par on 18. She goes for too much, throws OB, has a putt for the par from, what would you say, 50 feet?
Oh, no.
Oh, it was close.
No, it was close.
Oh, it was a C1X putt.
Yeah, it was like probably 25.
I don't know why I thought it was outside the circle.
No,
anyways,
she splashed it out.
Chains out left.
Yeah.
I honestly threw a pretty solid putt. Again, it's tough to know at that moment.
She made a really clutch putt on 17. I think it was a safe par, right?
Birdie.
Or for birdie, I guess. Oh, yeah, because she threw the forehand.
Yeah.
One of the few that stayed in bounds. She made a clutch putt there. It wasn't a terrible putt.
She didn't know, and would it have mattered? I don't know. But she knew the putt was important, but I think she probably felt when she went OB that she lost it.
Well,
her putt, honestly, if she makes it, she's in the playoff.
Yeah, and because like with her decision making on 18, like her drive was so good that even if she could have known, like let's say the lead was already in the clubhouse at 10. Chip isn't a guarantee there. It's not super difficult, but honestly, the first shot is kind of tough because that landing zone is kind of at an angle and it's kind of narrow. So, like, with her drive being as good as it was and her having such a good backhand hyzer, like, even if she knew 10 would get to a playoff, it's still not really insane to go for the win right there in regulation.
Yeah.
Which would have ended up happening if she made eagle, and she just flipped the disc over. I mean, we saw, we'll get to it, but we saw Nicklaus make a similar mistake where going up that hill, it's such a tight green that like you just don't want to saw it left for multiple reasons, because you don't want to go OB right like super early.
Yeah, that's how you go OB early.
But she just flipped it over. But if she gets it up and down, she probably wins the tournament, and which would have been a crazy way to win, and an amazing, at least like awesome golf would have won her that tournament.
Yeah. So instead, she gets in the clubhouse at 9 under, which she still wasn't out of it because Ida was at 10 under.
Yeah.
Own was at 9 under. So it was very easy of like, she could have the lead could have fallen to 9 under. Mm-hmm. Instead, what we see is let's talk about Ida and Own. So Ida, again, 15-year-old phenom. She's had several solid finishes. She won a silver event, a European silver event last season.
The Baltic Challenge.
So like we had heard of her before, and she had some sneaky good finishes this year. It was just she was never in contention to win. So like there wasn't much storyline around her name this year. Even when she was coming in like 4th place, she was like 9 to 11 strokes out of it. So it's like it's not like all eyes were on Ida before, and this is her first time she's ever played Worlds, and she finds herself in this, like I said, 12-stroke lead after round 3 or after round 4, cut to 1 because of the hole 16. She now comes into this round, and she's just kind of off from what we've seen. I mean, she was still playing far better than she typically does, apparently, but she was kind of off from what we had seen. But she's able to battle really 14, 15, 16, 3 birdies in a row. She battles down the stretch to be standing on the tee of 18 with the lead. Owen Scoggins is doing what Owen does. I mean, Owen went 100% C1X in the final round and 67% C2 in the final round. Like, she was just raining it in from everywhere, which is, in her interviews, that's what Owen was saying, is like, I can't throw far. I know I can't throw far, but I can putt. And so I just got to I have to make more putts than everyone else to have a chance to win.
I think, obviously this being her first win this year, that's kind of why, like, she's been a good putter this year, but we haven't seen those tournaments where it's like, oh, she just didn't miss, because anytime she wins, that's what she does. She just does not miss.
Yeah.
The margin for error is really thin, and that's what she ended up doing this tournament.
Yeah, so she ends up birdieing hole 18. Ida pars. And so they're both at 10 under. They go into a playoff. Well,
and for starters, Ida, birdieing is not super hard on that hole because they get 3 shots in.
Yeah, it's a par 5.
Her drive put her completely out of position. That's where she really lost that hole.
Yeah.
But she would have an even better chance to win on the very next hole.
Yeah, so then Owen goes first, throws the forehand like she always does, lands inbounds, plops out, barely out of bounds. Yeah. Honestly, when they called it OB, I was like, that thing might be inbounds. I don't know. From the camera angle, it was like, that is so close. She is truly OB. Ida throws pretty solid drive, completely fine. Yeah. Inbounds. Second, she throws a good second shot.
Tournament should be over.
Yeah, she puts herself. Eventually, we get to a spot where Ida can get up and down for birdie from like 100 feet.
They were calling it 80 on Jonas.
Yeah, not much.
80 feet. And this is
just a chippy hyzer, and it's a shot she's already thrown in regulation.
She threw a tougher one in regulation from probably about 20 feet from behind her lie, and did get up and down. And she knows up and down wins worlds.
Yeah, Owen is at best taking a par. Yeah. Like, Owen can't birdie. He at best taking a par. And so Ida gets up and down, she wins. So she knows that from 100 feet. And again, 15-year-old sawed it off.
Oh, I would have sawed it off.
Sawed it off. And it was the mistake you couldn't make
scoreboard.
Because where she saws it off she never crosses in by the green. So it leaves her with a long putt, probably like 50, 60 footer. So
in the realm of it's like, honestly reminds me of how Paige Pierce lost to Kat in 21, where like she just had to like throw that little fierce upshot and missed it. This one was similar, where the green was tight, but like it's not a hard shot, and also you went OB in the one place you couldn't. That was tough about it.
Almost felt like she knew that's the one place I can't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's almost something where you're stepping on me, like, just don't miss this left, I win. Just don't make this left, I win. And, of course, missed it left.
Yeah.
Then what was the interesting thing, this is what was talked about all on social media, is, so this Owen is 10 feet, maybe less, but
at most 10 feet.
But Owen Scoggins, he's not missing that in any world.
No.
Okay? And Ida steps up, and her dad's her caddy, and they're talking back and forth.
It's like 50 or 60 feet away.
About it clearly run this or not. And it seems on coverage, pretty clearly, it seems that they're doing the math on, is Owen's putt for a par or for a bogey? There's alleged claims out there that the PDGA Live had Owen putting for bogey. But, I mean, it's pretty simple math.
Yeah, she went OB once. There's only one person playing with you. You know what they did.
So they're talking back and forth. And from when I'm watching coverage, that's what it felt like, was they're making the decision, do I run it or not? And I'm sitting there like, what math are you doing? Owen's tapping out par. You have to run this. This is your putt for par. If you lay up, you lose. Like, run it as hard as you can. Who cares if you go OB? You lose either way, right? Like, if you lay up, you lose. So if you miss the putt, you lose. You might as well run the putt with a chance to continue to play off.
And it's not even that crazy. Like, it's a pretty, like, it's makeable.
Yeah, it's not. It's not an insane
it's like 60
putt.
feet.
And she steps up and lays it up.
Yeah.
It basically gave Owen Scoggins the world championship title.
Crazy.
First off, let me say, so I have two statements on this. First off, could not disagree with that decision more. I think that is like, you lost worlds there. Obviously, she lost worlds on hole 16 the round before, and she lost worlds on that upshot. But like, that was the moment of, this is your one shot. Literally, you make that putt, the playoff continues.
I will go to the grave believing that was not a real decision.
So
there was a mistake.
But I felt really bad because I'm like, if she laid that up, like surely she laid that up thinking this playoff will continue. So I was like, if she laid that up because she did the math wrong, I feel even worse. Because I couldn't fathom that she made the decision. But she came out in an interview later and said, my putt wasn't going well today. I didn't trust myself at that point, so I decided to put it under. That's what she says in an interview.
I think that's cap.
Now, if that's the truth,
just no way.
If that's the truth, I still fully disagree with the decision, but I feel a lot better because at least she knew the math and she was like, I'm gonna lay it up and see if Own misses.
The only way,
like if that's a decision she made, then I'm fine with it. I still think it's the wrong decision, but at least it settles me a little bit because I'm like, I feel way worse for a player that just the dad or her, because she's 15. If her dad or her did the math wrong and they thought they could lay up to force the playoff, and then you find out you lost, that's way more disheartening than I know I need to make this and I'm choosing not to throw it.
The only way you
that's
could,
like, at least then you can sleep at night because you had the chance, you made the decision, and it's fine.
The only way you could convince yourself in a brain scrambling moment that like you are okay to lay up is like you're just thinking, well, we both went out of bounds once. It's like that should line up, but like it didn't, and like there's no way. Like, that just cannot be true. I don't know how that has become the narrative, but, like, that you...
Well, it's become the narrative because that's what she says.
Yeah, but, like, that just can't be right because there's no way.
If it was anyone other than Own, I believe it.
If Hannah's standing over that putt, then sure.
I'm laying it up.
Then I'm like, all right, you know what? I still don't know if I'd lay it up, but, like, if you do, I'm like, good gamesmanship there. Because, like, you are putting it in somebody else's hands, but like you've seen it. But like Own, did you say she was 100%?
100%.
100%, Hunter. She didn't miss anything.
I'm on the same page.
So like,
let me actually see the stats for the whole weekend.
So it's like that.
Own Scoggins on the weekend was 92% C1X. She had missed 4 times all weekend long.
So like the layup there,
and this is almost C1, which puts her at 95%.
It's unfathomable, and it's like I just imagine like you're like the Disc Golf Network, and you're like, man, this is awesome. We're about to get a just dramatic moment. She got a putt to try and force the playoff, and she lays it up. Like, imagine watching. This is the best example I can give you. Imagine watching the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes is driving to win the game, and they're on the goal line, and they have time to run one more play, and he takes a knee. I shouldn't say they're on the goal line. They're at the 30. They got one more play. They got to score a touchdown, and he takes a knee. That's what happened. Yeah. She needed one more heave. It wasn't a guaranteed make by any, like maybe it's a 15% chance, and she takes a knee.
Well,
that's crazy.
It'd be almost like if I think this might be a better example.
Okay,
maybe not taking the knee.
No, hit me with it.
Because of the knee, like that means you fully gave up. In this situation, the other player still had to do something. So it'd be almost like you're playing defense on the like 1 yard line, and the Philadelphia Eagles are lining up the tush push.
Okay.
And you send them out there, and you just don't block.
Yeah,
that's more what it was.
No blocking.
It's just like, you know what? If you can run this 1 yarder in, you can have it.
You're right. That is
you can
better.
have it.
Yeah,
that's what I think. It's more.
Like we're gonna be there.
We're gonna stand there.
Yeah.
And if you can get from 1 yard in, we'll let you have it.
I just can't. The list of crazy things that happened in this division for this tournament. Like the 13th, Kristen DNF. And like we thought that was going to be the storyline, and then the 13 on hole 16, and then Henna the putt heard round the world, Ella almost making an insane comeback.
We didn't even talk about Evelina's. I think it was on hole 9, the final round or something. The like 20-footer that she missed by the same margin of how far out she was.
It's pure cinema, and honestly, you know what? We haven't gotten enough. I think what happened is we haven't gotten enough craziness out of FPO this year, like we have in years past, and I think they'd all saved up for Worlds.
Well, no, I honestly think what happened here was your players that are the proven winners on tour. Not Owen Scoggins obviously is a proven winner, and when it mattered, Owen played very well. And when the moments mattered most,
I think Owen played her game, to be honest.
Owen played her game that I feel like typically, if everyone else is playing their game, gets Owen like 3rd, 4th, 5th. Right? Yeah. It just was no one else played their game, so Owen was like, I'm going to make my putts, and I'm going to get to 10
Owen too. After going OB, making par there was not super easy.
No,
so like that, she did play.
That's
well.
what I'm saying. She played her game, and even her drive. It's not like she crumbled under pressure. Her drive hit in bounds and was almost perfect. It just trickled out.
Yeah.
But I really think what happened was the Silva, Evelina, Missy, Holland, those 4 did not show up this weekend at all. No. Silva was the closest to showing up. I mean, Evelina did for a little bit, but Silva was the closest to being like what we expected. But all of them finishing where they did put all this pressure on players where it was like...
You have 5 players under par.
It turned into what FPO kind of used to feel like, of like where Kristen, if Kristen wasn't playing well, or if Kristen was in third or fourth,
it was who wants to win this show.
Yeah, like who wants to lose more?
Yeah,
is what it almost felt like. And then Owen Scoggins was there, just like, I'm banging these putts, and if you give me a chance, I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah,
and that's what happened. And she took it down.
Owen Scoggins one time.
Ida, I will say, Ida made this Instagram post afterwards.
Okay.
As well.
New update.
So she said, professional world championship, first worlds I've ever played. Say what you want, but I played 5 rounds of the best disc golf I've ever been able to. Under all the pressure, I completely surpassed myself. As 15-year-old, I played in front of thousands of people, so I don't care about you saying what I should have done differently. I'm so proud of myself.
She freaking got you, dude.
Got me. I'm the one that's saying as long as she made an intentional decision, it's fine.
I like this though. She's got fire.
She said, I'm so proud of myself and so grateful. The opportunity to even play in the World Championship outside the United States is a great honor. I know I made history. 5 rounds of super high level disc golf with a rating average of 994, which is over 50 points above my own rating. Gave myself the opportunity to fight for the World Championship. Finished second. Got 3 second-place finishes, 2 fourth-place finishes for this season. I'm getting hungry.
Hey!
Biggest thanks to all of you that have been supporting me. It means the world to me. Congrats, Owen Scoggins.
Hey, great mindset. Great mindset. I like that. Also, yeah, at the end of the day, she's the most exciting thing to come out of the tournament because, I mean, she's next up, right? 15 years old.
The FPO Gannon Burr.
I hope she's touring full next year. Like, hopefully somebody picks her up. And
she's sponsored by Innova currently.
Well, hopefully either Innova invests in her or somebody picks her up that can get her touring. I mean, obviously she'll only be 16, so like she might need somebody to tour with. I don't know. That situation's a lot more difficult when you're not only going overseas, but you're a kid.
Yeah.
But hopefully she can play a full tour next year because, you know, she says she played some of her best disc golf, but you saw, it'd be weird to think that was a flash in the pan, especially with her winning, like having good finishes this year. She won the Silver Series last year, not in a great field at all, but like. She's 15. Like, there is enough out there to think that if she can develop on tour, you know, even if she tours fully next year and doesn't win but gets experience, maybe by the time she's 18, you know, she's the best in the world. Like, I'd like to see her talent kind of develop.
Well, that's what I'm saying is she can say, and I fully believe her, that this is the best disc golf she's played, but you don't do this across 5 rounds and it be a flash in the pan.
Right, and you didn't
3-round tournament where you had one crazy round, but like
she didn't have to play the best disc golf either. She just needed to not take a 13.
She should have won this thing by 10.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Or 9. If she takes a 4 there,
exactly.
Heck, give her a par, she wins by 8.
Yeah,
like she should have ran away with this thing across 5 rounds in one of the fullest FPO fields you'll ever see.
Yeah,
I understand this is probably the best disc golf she's ever played. But it does not feel like a fluke.
No, and that post, like, you know, she's clearly trying to erase it, throw it under the rug, and move forward, positive takeaway, and that's exactly how you should do it.
Yeah.
So,
and again,
that's good mindset. Good mindset.
I really hope, and there's no reason not to believe her, that was an intentional decision, because then you can rest with it way easier. Right? Like, it's way easier to sleep at night knowing I chose to lay up and give Owen the chance to win it, and Owen made it.
It's also easier to sleep at night knowing you might have, like, another 20 tries at it.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's way harder to sleep at night if you're like, I thought I could lay up and push a playoff to the next hole, and I did my math wrong.
Role reversal and your own Scoggins, and you're in your mid-40s, and you're like, wow, that might have been my last shot at this, where sky's the limit. And I'm sure her phone probably hasn't been ringing off the hook. She's probably the most sought after disc golf player right now.
Should Owen have laid up after Ida laid up, you know?
Out of respect.
Like, out of respect. Like, hey, you probably did your math wrong. Let's do it again.
Round.
Yeah,
that would have been a real Owen move, you know?
You know what? You did your math wrong. It's okay. I'm going to lay up. We'll go play again.
Love it.
Who knows? Okay, MPO. Flipping over. This was an absolute shootout on MPO. It was electric. It really just felt like it was
basically like 1 or 2 players were just throwing massive punches each round.
It was just like whoever messes up first loses is what it felt like. So you had Gannon Burr taking down his first world title, first of many, I'm pretty sure. Aaron Gossage came in second for the second time. Niklas Antila came in third. So the first thing that came out of this event is Ezra Aderhold, 14 under at the Monster. One of the greatest rounds ever played, I'm pretty sure. exposed just how terrible the rating system is because 14 under at the Beast,
like
which was
1094, I think.
drastically easier, would have been higher rated. A 13 under was 1091, a 15 under was 1105, and somehow Ezra's 14 under on the Monster was 1094. Like that's you're really gonna tell me that 3 rounds better happened to the European Disc Golf Festival 2 weekends ago? Like,
But
come
did
on.
You consider where the shadows were in the trees at that time.
It's just the rating system needs to be eradicated for the Pro Tour. Like this is just
no point.
It's silly. We know what we saw.
It's also way more fun to debate like greatest rounds without the rating system. Because if you drag it in there, people are just going to throw out the ratings numbers, and it's annoying.
Do you really think Paul Macbeth's 17
eyeballs.
under at Memorial was 4 strokes better? Basically, a 17 under at Memorial is equivalent of an 18 under at the Monster. Because Paul's is 1132, highest rated round ever.
And the 17 under Memorial is just a bunch of hyzers.
That's what I'm saying. It's a wide open field.
Yeah.
And out here, Ezra Aderhold, like the dude didn't really make a mistake.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Anyway, so he does that round.
It's all about how badly did you beat your fields.
Yes.
Like that's all it is. It has nothing
crazy.
to do with the round.
Literally, Ezra's mistake was that the good players played solid that day. Because then when you have AB shoot a 15 under in round 4, the good players didn't play as solid, so therefore his rating's better. It was like, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. I can't stand the rating system.
WAB.
The rating is a lot of fun for us AMs to be like, jarring back and forth and be like, oh, I'm 9 whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Sure, that's fun. Okay, it's fun. But it doesn't. On the Pro Tour makes no sense.
My broken ratings inflation really came to fruition. Somebody threw my rating in as a pro me argument.
Heck yeah.
Somebody defended me in a comment section by saying like somebody couldn't match my rating, and I like had to double take because I'm like, is that what they meant to say?
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've
arrived in the
I need
ratings
to go
game.
Play a tournament in New London and get myself like back to like 9.
Yeah, just wait for them to do another 1 round, all divisions at New London, and you'll have a great rating.
That's what I need to do.
It's the secret.
Yeah.
It's what all disc golfers, PDGA officials will hate this one secret that'll give you a rating.
So Gannon Burr going into this tournament said like he just wanted to give himself a chance because he felt like he had never had a shot at the world title. He'd always been in like
he really made do on that because like it's not like he wired this thing at all.
No.
So like he really did just stay around. Like, that's what he did.
Well, he went into the final round with a lead.
But it took till then to get the lead.
The fight was far from over because there was like 6 guys, even halfway into the round, there was like 6 guys in this thing. As it got into crunch time, it narrowed in on Gannon, AB, Goose, and Niklas. In my opinion, hole 13, because like, so if you look at the final round, AB in middle section of the course absolutely scorches it. From hole 3 to hole 10, he didn't miss a hole. Hole 11 is the first one he missed, but he bounces back with 12. In my opinion, because him and Gannon were just kind of like exchanging blows. They were both in it, and then you had, at this point, Ezra Aderhold and Sullivan Tipton were still kind of in it. Sully really struggled. His backhand let him down on 10 and 11, I believe it was. Anyways, Sully kind of slowly gets out of it. Ezra, hole 12, gets out of it because that's the hole where he threw it left and then threw it even farther left. I think he had a tree kick that went down.
Oh, dude.
And he throws this like hyzer, whatever.
That tree kick, like the disc teleported left,
yeah.
bro. He hit that thing going 100
He was on like 3 different fairways
and
over.
Also, has anybody checked on the ground since he punched it?
Yeah, that was the moment.
Hard punch.
That was the moment I think he realized like it
was over.
He lost his worlds on hole 12.
MPO, like you get to the final few holes, like you
can't mess up.
You do one thing wrong, you lost it.
You can't mess up. And that's where I think that hole 13, in my opinion, was the make or break moment for AB because Gannon finally messes up on the tee shot, right? He throws this roller, hits the root. It's very fortunate to stay in the middle of the fairway, but the dude's not far off the tee on a 615-foot par 4. He then throws a pretty incredible second shot that puts him at like 40-some feet. AB has a birdie putt as well, slightly closer than Gannon, and then Gannon just does what Gannon does, bangs this putt and big putts AB. And I think that was the moment, in my opinion, that like gave Gannon momentum over AB because before they were kind of exchanging it.
That was a slam the door shut type
and
thing.
That was the like I feel like off the tee, AB probably was like, I finally got one. Like, okay, here we go. We're gonna start going again. And then Gannon was like, nah, you're not getting anything on me. Because from that point out, AB shot ended up shooting 4 over, but 3 of them came on 16. But AB just stalled after that. So then it was you had Aaron Gossage and Niklas Antila setting the pace ahead of Gannon Burr. And really it was Niklas. I mean, he was the one that could have done it. You go into 18, and he has a one-stroke lead over Aaron Gossage.
Well, Goose just had a birdie 17.
Yeah, Goose just had a birdie 17. But, well, I guess let's talk Aaron Gossage for a second, because coming into the week, Brody told us, he got a really good feeling about Goose this weekend.
Did they take him and pick
I don't know. I don't have a pick him update.
Okay.
I don't have the pick him update, but I would assume they probably took him.
I think as long as they didn't, if they took him, yeah, we're cooked.
Yeah, we might be cooked. We do have Gannon and Sully.
Did we take Gannon?
Yeah, we went Gannon.
That's right.
We went Gannon, Sully.
Our picks were
Ezra,
sick.
We went Gannon, Sully, Ezra Robinson.
And he took 12.
Ezra Robinson came in 14.
But no, those are good picks.
Yeah.
Those are good picks. Never mind. We're not cooked.
So anyways, Gooseman, I had told Brody going into it, I was like, I don't think his putt can hold up. And I was completely wrong. I mean, it's fascinating to watch Aaron Gossage because, like, there have been moments where, to be completely frank with you, he's looked like Henna or Evelina on the putting green.
All right, that's slanderous.
Okay, maybe that is not.
But
I mean, he's had moments. New Zealand, we saw him like 4-putt from 15 feet.
That was a moment.
But I'm just saying, he's had those moments. But this weekend, the guy was 88% from C1X, which is literally like one putt off from being nearly the best. And because 88 to 90 is basically nothing. But then the big thing for him is he was 48% on the weekend from Circle 2, including 100% from Circle 2 during the final round. Like, this guy in the final round, when he needed it the most, was just raining them in.
Yeah, he was on
left and right. It was wild to watch. I mean, he started with a 50-footer on hole 1. He hit a 40-footer on hole 5, and then he hit another 40-footer on hole 13. He felt inevitable, so he was dialed in.
Goose and Ezra, man, between the two of those guys, their little practice round videos, they got something going.
They do.
We need to figure out what they're taking. Surprise cannabinoids drug test.
Well, when Ezra shot the 14 under, I took where I believe it was Antonio. Who was it? It was someone had posted a picture where they got after like a crazy.
You did that? I was gonna do that. Did you actually do it? That's so funny.
I took the like drug test summons and replaced the name to say Ezra Aderhold.
I literally was thinking about doing the same thing. That's
I tweeted
so
that
funny.
the day after the 14 under because I was like, it's hilarious. The one turn we have drug testing, which we heard nothing out of.
Yeah, lame.
Firefest of the year was the drug testing.
Lame.
Nothing happened. Anyways, so Nicklaus though, he's going in. He's on fire, which I think if Nicklaus would have won this thing in front of the home crowd, we might have heard that over here. Like, we might have heard the roar over here. But he goes into the final hole.
Even a playoff would have been so sick.
And a birdie from Nicklaus on the final hole would have forced Gannon, which I think at this point Gannon was probably on like hole 15 or 16. So he didn't know the bogey on 17 was coming yet, but he knew he needed a birdie.
Yeah.
He didn't know how crucial the birdie was, but he knew he needed a birdie. And really, it was just his second shot. He yanks. He hits the stage. Very fortunate bounce to actually give himself still a look at the birdie. Mm-hmm. Ran that. Ends up going OB.
That stage just is always a part of that course.
Yeah.
Like, people hit it all the time.
Ends up going OB. Taps out. So that's how he ends up in third, even though he was in a better position to actually push to tie Gannon. And then hole 17, Gannon bogeys. He had a honestly, like, circle's edge putt for par that he just left low. Pretty lucky that it didn't roll.
He is. That would have been tough.
Ends up bogeying. So then Gannon goes into 18 knowing par, I win. And he's able to just kind of chip. And take his par. And yeah, Gannon Burr, all eyes were on him. You know, he was the one that was expected to win. This was the first time he'd ever shot worse than 10 under at the Beast with a 9 under.
Yeah.
If he would have birdied 18, he would have still never shot worse than 10 under at the Beast, which is crazy. It was an electric worlds, and yeah, Gannon took it down. Like I said, I think this is the first of many to come. I can't really.
Well, now you can, like, if he loses,
this was the last one. Obviously he still needs Champions Cup, quote unquote, but like USDGC and Worlds are like the two that you like always want. And he already had USDGC. I mean, at this point, because Ricky's still missing USDGC, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like he now is. You can argue him versus Rick when it comes to major.
Ricky has a lot of majors, but
I'm saying as far as the like,
the thing is with Gannon is like if he gets into contention this year where he's really fully realized, you know, and if he loses, then you can start to kind of form that narrative of like, oh, you know, maybe the world title is gonna be the one that eludes him. But now that he just very quickly ripped off that Band-Aid. And he's got so much time ahead of him.
Yeah,
you got to imagine in a 10-year reign of Gannon Burr, he's going to rattle off at least 2 more.
Well, I mean, he was saying
and he could rattle off 5 more. Like,
during the interview before, he was like, this is, I think, the toughest of the next 3 for me to win because I really like myself at Portland and I like myself at the D-Glow courses. Talking about the next 2 Worlds. So, like, he beforehand was like, if I win this one, I might win 3 in a row.
I like him everywhere.
But, like, that's a pretty baller statement to basically be like, if I take down this one, I might win 3 in a row.
Well, when you're as robotic and good at disc golf as Gannon, and this is literally the way he talks about tournaments, is like, unless there are, like, legitimate things with the course that he sees that oppose his game, he just thinks he's going to win them. So all he has to do is play well, and he wins the tournament. Like that is, it's not like some golfers, Aaron Gossage, he has to play out of his mind. I mean, bummer for Aaron Gossage, like both years that he's been in contention for Worlds, you go back to 2022, and this year, like he played some really good golf and just ran into monsters. Like he ran into Paul, who is just making ridiculous putts and staying alive. And then you ran into Gannon, who was just not going to make mistakes enough to let up. So yeah, man, Gannon Burr, great disc golfer. And it's good to see. It's good to see it. Like, the narratives are fun. Like the Calvin thing was fun for a while. The Ricky things, but it's good to see a guy who has the high potential like deliver on that and realize himself like, no, he is undisputed the guy. Like he's got the world title too, because it was like, well, Isaac's got 2 world titles even though he's not there all year long. But no, Gannon's got the world title. He's done it. So yeah, I'm happy for Gannon. It's awesome.
Yeah. Surprising finishes. I mean, really, like, Isaac Robinson wasn't in contention, but he still came in 12th. Like, that was fine. Paul was way out of it, shot himself way up the leaderboard to come in the top 10.
Rick was the only one I looked at.
Ricky was
Kyle Klein didn't play well either, but, like, Rick was the one where it was, like, the bigger bummer.
Yeah, Ricky Wysocki came in 32nd, only a 5-under final round, shot 20 under for the tournament. So he lost by 23 strokes to Gannon.
The leaderboard was pretty chalky, though.
But the leaderboard was like the guys you expected for the most part.
Oh, there's my dark horse pick, Jaden Rye. Who did you take?
I beat you. I took Maury Villman. He's not far up. He's 27th. Yeah, get wrecked. Yeah, so it was, though, like a lot of the guys you expected to be in it were in it, and the guy you expected to win won. Like I said, I think the Isaac Robinson I expected to be in contention.
I guess we'll give a shout out to the one sort of random name up there, and that would be Pyrie Youtson.
Yeah.
That was a guess. I
believe Lenny Kempinen, he was out of the B pool. He was like almost on lead card when the B pool merged, and he had the eagle on hole 16. They showed in the final round. I don't know if you saw that. Threw in for the 2.
Sick. I didn't see it.
$1,000 or €1,000 bounty on that eagle. So he got a little €1,000.
Wow, that's a good weekend.
Payout. That was courtesy of Ford Finland. So
shout out Ford Finland.
Let's now talking about money. It's all the purse because this, Drew Gibson put out a whole video about this.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Drew's back.
Let's go.
He put out a whole video about this. I think we actually talked about this going into this Worlds. Funny enough, we did like a trivia.
We realized it like last week.
So the last 2 Worlds, the winner has gotten $30,000, right? And when they published this, let me actually look at the Worlds purse last year because we honestly I think Worlds purse last year was $285. I said on the podcast last week I bet UC pushes it to $300 just because he can.
Yeah, it went
ended up being $200,000 pro purse. Mm-hmm. Winner Gannon Burr got $20,000. Owen Scoggins got $15,000. Which last year World's winner FPO got $17,000.
What was the added cash breakdown? Because I saw people talking about specifically the added cash.
I don't know if I can see it now because it's been.
We'd have to find the.
I'd have to find the screenshot.
The post.
I'll look for that. But while I'm trying to pull this up, a lot of people are talking about like how this is a really bad sign. This is whatever. Here's my take on it. Is in my opinion, what we saw infrastructure-wise was so far beyond what we typically see that money came from somewhere, right? So how I'm viewing it is I think that realistically this was a decision by UC and the team of like they probably could have cut back $100,000 worth of infrastructure. Like I legitimately think that probably multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars went into the infrastructure of this event. I'm thinking that the purse could have been $300,000. Probably this tournament had more money to be put into it, and it was a decision of like we're gonna have 10,000 people out there twice as much as normal. We need to make
I just wish they would say it, because you're right.
I think that's how I'm interpreting it.
Well, right, that's how we're interpreting it. But if UC or somebody would just come out and say, hey, yeah, I know people have mentioned talked about the purse online. Obviously, it's smaller. We know we're going to have this many people, and we want to correctly accommodate them and make sure it's a good experience. Now, that comes at the end of the day, this comes at the cost of the players because, the fans, this doesn't matter to us. Like, we just like to nitpick. But, it only comes at the cost of the players. And obviously, it's still a big purse, and it is what it is. But also, if you're Gannon, you're like, last 2 years I would have got $10,000 more. That's a few more Lego sets.
I don't know if you're Gannon, you care. Mainly just because Gannon's the only thing that might hurt Gannon is if he's like, I'm gonna have a crazy year. I'm not gonna break the overall
you don't care a ton, but
record.
it is okay. But if UC comes out and says that, then I care even less now. But it's just and I guess it's probably there probably isn't that many people talking about it because most people just aren't paying this much attention.
No, actually, let me see what the comment section on Drew Gibson's video is.
We pay uber close attention to these things, but $10,000 is a lot. That's a lot of a difference.
Well, it's $85,000 difference in the purse size.
Right, that's very, very big. It's
Drew's video only has 3,000 views, so it's not like it blew up. But
it has a lot of comments.
The top comment on it said, I know this isn't confirmed, but it stinks of good old-fashioned corporate greed.
They think they just raked it.
The money's still there. They're redirecting those funds to line pockets now, the next FIFA. See, I disagree with it. In my opinion, look at what we saw. When have we ever... They had skyboxes. They had a restaurant on the green of 18. Yeah. They had... Even the stage we don't typically see. They had giant, TV screens, multiple places. They had way more fencing. Fencing's crazy expensive. If you look at the infrastructure, even the grandstands were massive. If you look at all of that and what we saw there... Even the small things of the players being able to walk up and over, and if you look at all of that, we've never seen any of that.
That's why. What was the added cash number? Do you have the added cash?
$60,000 for MPO and $40,000 for FPO.
So $100K added. Can we find last year's added cash?
I can try my best.
Because when you are correct, you have to walk me through this. But when you are running a tournament, there's a minimum payout, and is that minimum payout just based on the money that comes from entry fees?
Yeah, the minimum. Now I don't know for majors, it's probably a percentage. It's typically a percentage of it has to be at least X amount.
But is it of just the entry fee money? Because I'm asking is the added cash money yours to do whatever with?
Yeah.
So
there might be. I would imagine for Worlds, because for an A tier, there's an X amount of you have to have this much added cash. Right. And I would imagine for Worlds, it's a similar thing, but. If you go out and sell sponsorship and I need to have $10,000 of added cash and I sell $150,000 of added cash, if I want to pocket $50,000 of that and have $100,000, I can.
So that's what I'm saying. Where we might be seeing the discrepancy, and that's why I want to know what the added cash was last year, is they may have had $200,000 added cash, but then they use $100K to build out the tournament. That may have been where they dug in to build out the tournament. That's what we don't know, though. And because you're right, what people are saying, it could have just been they all just paid themselves handsomely. But also, they do put in a ton of work to these things.
That's when I'm looking at it, I don't see, in my opinion, I don't see how you can run an event at the level we just saw. Now, because what we also don't know is the added cash can come from a number of places. How do we know that last year they wanted a big payout and they were banking on, we need to sell X amount of tickets to make up this added cash we're going to put in the payout? And maybe this year, UC and them were like, this is what we sold the tournament for. This is it. We need to sell X amount of tickets to pay for the infrastructure. And maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like again, this is all my opinion. Tournament directors, if the PDGA is not going to run this thing themselves, which they're not, right? We've seen that over and over and over and over again. The only way we can have the level of tournament we just witnessed be consistent is if people make money. UC Maresma and Nate Heinold and whoever else is running majors, the Sean Jack, I believe is his name, but the whatever productions over for the Champions Cup this year. If the PDGA is not running it and we want majors to be at the level that we just witnessed, they have to be able to quote unquote line their pockets. Because if not, if you run this weekend, which probably was years of work for UC, and you run this weekend and you walk away from it and you pocketed $2,000.
Yeah,
you're not going to do it. Well, there's going to be a very short list of people that will do it just for the love of the sport. and that's it. And like that's
I kind
great.
of believe UC would because he is worth millions.
I believe he would, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the stigma, and it's a stigma that goes with all tournaments of like even your local C tiers. Your local C tier, your TD should be able to run that tournament, and this should be something where if they wanted to run a tournament 3 times a month for the entire year, they should be able to make a living on just running tournaments. Because what that does is it allows them to put on tournaments and become professional tournament directors versus like there's a lot of times a C tier or even a B tier or an A tier will run a tournament and they might do all of this work, get all the complaints, everyone hates it, whatever, and they pocketed $100. And it's like, that was a waste of my weekend. So I also don't like, I can't find the added cash for Worlds last year, but I don't like the idea of like it seeming to be a bad thing if the tournament director staff makes money. It's like they have to make money.
Well, yeah.
And like even if they pocketed $85,000, okay, I'm okay with that.
At the end of the day, they still pay the field crazy deep, and the only people like nothing needs to happen unless the players are complaining because they're the ones getting paid. So if the players were all outspoken and they start talking about how we need to like this is ridiculous, the payout went down, then we would speak on their behalf and probably agree and be like, but like since they're not, whatever, I'm just like, it was a good tournament. It is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, the money, the only reason I look at purses and payouts is to get maybe insight into the economic status of the sport. But this one is an outlier because of the way this tournament was built out. You can't just look at it at face value and be like, oh,
that's what I'm saying. If we come back,
it's not like because like every year the Tour Championship for the Pro Tour, they run the same tournament basically. So like, because they run basically the same tournament, if the purse goes down, it's because they couldn't secure sponsorship.
Yeah.
Or for some reason like that. But when Worlds is run completely different every year, then like we can't really, it's going to fluctuate. We can't
That's
really
what, to me, if Worlds comes back to the U.S. next year, right, and it's ran how we typically see a Worlds ran. Mm-hmm. Like there's not the crazy infrastructure. There's infrastructure more than your typical event, but it's just like it's a slightly bigger Pro Tour. Yeah. And then the purse stays at like 200,000 way down. Okay, now I am on the same page. Yeah. Of like, okay, what's going on here? But for this, because of how big the tournament was, I can fully believe that $85,000 went into the running of the tournament, and like that's the difference.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not freaking
venues,
out about that.
All the logistics, like a restaurant.
They
out
had
there,
40 security personnel because you see on the final day they were interviewing him and he's talking about like he's nervous because they have 10,000 people out there and they have 40 security staff. It's like if something goes wrong here, like we're not you're screwed, but it's just like this is a lot of people to maintain.
It's not hard to grasp. I mean, honestly, it's almost hard to grasp that they could, even if it was $100,000, like you could sell me that it was $200,000.
That's what I'm saying.
Or more. Like
I fully believe that this tournament probably had more added cash, quote unquote, by a large margin than last year's with the sponsorship and stuff. It's just what do we want to see? Like, would people really be happy if the tournament purse went up to $300,000, but it like $100,000 of the infrastructure was gone? Like that would be.
Yeah, then everybody would be complaining about.
Everyone would be like, "Wow, what? Like this is weird. I thought Europe was supposed to be some big spectacle, and there was, but it just looked like a normal U.S. tournament, looked like a normal Pro Tour stop with more people like that. What do you like? There's no winning there. Yeah. So I don't think that the purse decrease is a storyline, in my opinion. Because I think there's a pretty easy way to find where the money went, and in my opinion, I don't think it's into people's pockets. I think it wouldn't surprise me if UC came out and said, I wanted this to be the biggest world ever. We actually lost $10,000 in running this tournament.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, because look at what we saw.
And the tickets were very affordable.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, just look at the tournament. It would not surprise me at all if UC was like, I put $20,000 of my own money out there to make this tournament as big as it was. And like that wouldn't surprise me. I could be wrong, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
so,
I actually had $500,000 and he just took most of it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And you know what? If he did, again, if we want the sport to progress, the people running the tournaments have to make money. They have to. Because like that's the only way that there is incentive to put on a tournament of this level. The amount of work and stuff it takes, they have to get paid. You can disagree with that till you're blue in the face. We're just going to disagree.
This is the capitalism show now.
No, I'm just saying, if you want the sport to progress,
I don't think
the tournament directors have to get paid.
I don't think you don't have to volunteer for free to run ginormous tournaments with a ton of pressure.
That's what I'm saying. Until the PDGA steps in and runs it all themselves, because obviously they're a cash cow. Until they do that, the individual tournament directors have to make good money. if we want the sport to progress. There's no way around it. And if that means that the world's winner took home $20,000 instead of $30,000, okay, I'm okay with that.
He's okay with that.
Okay, time for Trevor's Trivia, fan favorite segment, right after these messages.
He's okay with that. All right, so trivia. We've got a fun one here. So Gannon Buhr, obviously getting his first world title at a pretty young age that I won't mention yet for the sake of this game.
Okay.
So I figured we could go back and look at other players' first world titles and what ages they won them.
Okay.
So went back, and this is starting in what we'll call the Climo era. I won't make you go further back than that because then it gets a bit obscure, and I wouldn't expect you to know those players' ages.
Well, like Sam Theron won at like 18, didn't he? Sam something?
Technically 16.
Oh.
Well, there's discrepancy, 16 or 17.
Okay. That's the only one I know, though, from the early era.
Right. But in any case, so starting in 1990 with the Climo streak where he won a bajillion in a row.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the names of the winners. That's not the game. And you're going to try and order them from youngest when they first won to oldest.
Okay.
And I'm just going to have you order them, and then I'll kind of go through and we'll see how close you got. Okay, so you have...
I'm going to do it on this doc sheet.
This is, you can write it out. It'll help you remember everything. So this is going to be the order of the title winners.
Okay.
So you have Climo. You have Ron Russell. He snuck one in there in 99. Cam Todd. Barry Schultz. Nate Doss. You got Feldberg. AJ. Emac. You got Macbeth. And you got Rick. And you got Barsby. And you got Conrad. Then you got Isaac. And you got Gannon.
Okay.
So that is the list of the world champions since Paul. And you are going for their age at the time of their first title. Now, there are a few different ties in here. Like your first guess, there's going to be 2 people tied for youngest. This is actually kind of my fun fact that goes along with this as well because I think it's really fun.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with players that I can figure out their age of.
Okay.
Like Gannon, I think, is 20 or 21 right now.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be towards the youngest. He's got to be up there. So I'm going to just go ahead and put him at the top of the list there.
Okay.
I know when Isaac won his first, he would have been older than Gannon. So I'm going to put Isaac second there because I know those line of thoughts. I'm good there.
Okay.
I know that Paul is currently 35. Mm-hmm. So math backwards, he was 22.
Can math.
22 when he won. So I think that's going to put Paul in between Isaac and Gannon.
Okay.
So I'm going there. Okay. Now I'm starting to lose it. Ken Climo, I'm going to say, was probably around Isaac's age when he won his first.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put Climo after Paul before Isaac.
Okay.
Ron Russell, I don't know anything about Ron Russell, so I'm going to just kind of put him in the middle. I'll worry about him later.
Okay.
Barry Schultz is...
Now remember I will say, like, with all these players, remember the order that they were put into as well. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, in a sense, like, I'm helping you a little bit, but Barry didn't win at the beginning of Climo's reign.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, he won
in like
Ron
2000.
Russell. Yeah, it was a while.
2000 something. So I'm going to say that Barry was probably in his mid to late 20s when he won his first. And so I'm going to say, I have no idea where the frick Ron Russell is going to fit into this equation.
He's a dark horse.
Because I do know that Ron Russell wasn't playing disc golf by the time I started watching, which obviously was 2015. But also, I just got the pick'em stats. We'll go over that after this. But also, I watched a lot of like earlier tournaments, and Ron Russell wasn't playing any of those. So I'm going to say Ron Russell was sneaky older towards when he won. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to go Ron Russell after Barry Schultz. I think Barry, Kenny, Isaac, all are very similar in my opinion. Cam Todd is going to be an interesting one because he just kind of snuck a Worlds in. CT Plastic, Cam Todd Plastic. How about that? And he would have been kind of young.
That's a tough one.
I'm gonna just put him right after Isaac.
Okay.
Because I don't know enough about him. Okay, we got to start looking. Ricky Wysocki won his first in 2016. He is now I think he just turned 30. Okay. So he will be probably tied with Gannon for the youngest, I think. So I'm going to put him after Gannon before Paul when he won his. Because he won it in 2016. That would have been 9 years ago. That put him around 2021 when he won it. Okay. So I'm going to put, I think Gannon, Rick, Paul, they're all within a year or two of each other. Okay. I think.
Okay.
But I think all of them are going to be the youngest. Okay. Barsby is probably going to be the oldest here. James Conrad is probably my age, or close to my age. We feel like we'd be similar ages. So I'm going to say when he won in 2021, I would have been 24. So I'm going to say he would have been similar age there. So I'm going to put him after Climo ahead of Isaac. No, I'm going to put him after Isaac ahead of Cam Todd. That's where I'm going to put Conrad. Okay. Nate Doss is not old. He's not old at all.
No, he's not.
He's like 39 now. Maybe he just turned 40. He's not old. I know that. And he won 3 in a row. No, he won 3 total.
He won 2 in a row.
His first would have been like 06, 08, somewhere in that range. So I'm going to say that if Doss is 39 now, and I'm trying to go back to like early 2000s, I got to take years off. That's not possible. He's older. He's older than I think because he didn't win at 15 or 16. I'm going to say that Doss, though, is the youngest.
Okay.
Because I know he won a long time ago, and I know he's not old. Okay. I know those two things, so I'm going to say Nate Doss is up there with Gann and Rick.
All right.
Eric McCabe is in a similar boat. He won 15 years ago. I would think he won it in like mid-20s. I feel like everyone's in the mid-20s in my head when they won. So I'm going to put him after Isaac ahead of James Conrad.
Yeah.
Avery Jenkins won in 2009. His only win 16 years ago. Is he master's age yet? Surely. He was young when he won. Let's just say he's 40 today, then 16 years ago, he would be 24. So I'll leave Barsby as the oldest. I think I'm pretty happy with this list. Okay. I'm gonna put AJ. This is tough. I'm gonna just put him. No, he's got to be young. I'm gonna put him after Climo before Isaac. Okay, so this is my list, Trev. You ready?
Okay.
Nate Doss, youngest. Gannon, second. Rick, third. Macbeth, fourth. Climo, 5. Avery Jenkins, 6. Isaac Robinson, 7. Eric McCabe, 8. Conrad, 9th. Cam Todd, 10th. Schultz, 11th. Ron Russell, 12. Dave Feldberg, Greg Barsby.
Okay. So I will kind of break it down for you based on like what you had like really right and what you had like the most wrong, because you started off doing really well. So your good picks were like you're right, and Doss and Gannon are correct. They're 20 years old.
Okay, sweet.
So really good pull with Doss because like he probably looked 30 even when he was 20. Rick is not quite in the right spot. Macbeth and Climo are tied at 22 each, and then Rick at 23. So also pretty good.
So I just had him flip.
Yeah, not bad though. Isaac is close to where he's supposed to be. 23 is his age.
So he should just be one ahead.
Yeah, he is one ahead.
Yeah.
There. This is where things got. Basically, your flaw on this list was thinking that AJ, Emac, and Conrad were way younger than they actually were.
Oh, James Conrad's a lot older than me.
James Conrad was 31 when he won Worlds.
Why do I think me and James Conrad are the same age?
I don't know.
No
I mean,
idea.
that one, and then this one may come as a shock as well. AJ, also 31 when he won Worlds.
How old is Avery Jenkins? He's almost 50?
This is an Ulti-World article confirms all these ages. They have a whole article about average Worlds winners.
There's no way Avery Jenkins is almost 50.
I can believe that.
I just talked to him like 2 weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, he looks great, but like, I mean, it's not unbelievable.
What?
Listen, unless the Ulti-World article is wrong, I had to pull it up to confirm it here.
Avery Jenkins was 31 in 2009.
They have that here. 2009 aged Avery Jenkins, 31.
That he had to be 21. That's a typo. I think they have him off by 10 years. There's no way Avery Jenkins.
Ulti-World has it. Let's look. If we just look up Avery Jenkins' age, let's see if we can get like an actual age pool on him here. It says he was born in 1978, bro. That's old.
They flipped him and Nate Doss.
That's old. It's on his website. His website, averyjenkins.net, has him born in 78. That's old. That means he's 47. Yeah. Yeah, it's very believable for AJ.
But it's not when you talk to the guy and look at him.
Yeah, he's looking great.
What?
Barsby was also 31. And Feldberg also 31. Ton of guys 31 when they won. EMAC was 32.
Okay.
Cam Todd was 27. That one was like pretty much impossible.
That was impossible. A lot of these guys are impossible.
Barry was 33, and Ron Russell was 36. So he was the old one there. But mostly that list came down to you had a lot of them dialed in, but like I agree, like I would have struggled as well. But like AJ, EMAC, Felberg, like all those
AJ
guys.
is the only one that shocked me.
Conrad shocked me.
Well, Conrad shocked me because of his age. Yeah. But the EMAC, Cam Todd, Schultz, Ron Russell, I had no idea.
The fun fact here is
Avery Jenkins.
Gannon is the youngest world champ since Nate Doss.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to think about the way we think about Gannon now. You know, Nate Doss, when he won that title, he was breaking up a bunch of Climo wins. And then Climo took one after that at a really old age, and then Nate Doss won another one. So like he was like the Climo slayer, 20 years old. Like he was the next up.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, in the later half of his career, he just ran into a bunch of really good players.
All right, so we have the pick'em results here.
You gotta think Nate Doss, man. I wonder how close he came, because like those years where Felberg, EMAC, and AJ won, like those are 3 years that like if it's like a Paul kind of dominance, like Doss wins those years. I wonder how close he came those years. I think he lost the playoff to Avery. I don't remember.
Brother-in-law.
That might have been Anton. Anton was runner up like a billion times.
We got our teeth kicked in here. So we had the same
suck
FPO
at pick 'em,
picks.
bro. We suck. And it's not even our fault because our picks weren't bad.
We had our same FPO picks,
Well,
Silva
FPO
Saarinen,
picks, everybody's
Evelina, and then we picked Paige Pierce. They picked Valerie Mandujano. No one got points there, so we washed there. We both picked Gannon. Makes sense. We then picked Ezra Robinson. They picked Ezra Aderhold.
They had the greatest picks of all time.
I think they picked the best you can do, because then we picked Sullivan Tipton, who came in 5th, but they went Gannon, Ezra, Aaron Gossage.
Yeah, I think the take here
First, fourth, second.
The take here is that we don't suck. They did amazing because we got first, 5th, and 14th. That's not bad. And solely
this is the best point you can get.
Yeah.
Surely first, fourth, second. Like
that's
the only
insane. The fact that they got Goose and Ezra Aderhold to both in the same week go off like that is nuts. They timed that up perfectly. But hey, they called their shot. So
yeah.
Respect.
Well, did they though? They didn't even have a show. So how do we know this isn't Gary Daddario picking?
These picks are very believable for.
I think this was a Brody pick by
That's
itself.
what I'm saying.
I think this was just a Brody Smith
Him taking
special.
Goose and Ezra is super believable. So like, I'll give them credit where credit's due. 1 week out of all the weeks, they'd had legit picks.
Yeah.
No live chat.
Yeah. Well, no, there was no show this week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why. Like,
that is interesting. There's no. How do we know that this isn't a Bernie Madoff situation where they retroactively put in picks?
We don't. That is true. Interesting that they got them all. So
yeah, I need the SEC.
If Ida had made her way into
if Ida would have been in their FPO pick, I'd be launching a full-on investigation.
Situation there.
They might be running a Ponzi scheme for the pick'em.
It would be funny if we don't know what they're doing.
Well, this week there wasn't a show.
Yeah.
So and they didn't text it in the group chat because they
just said, our picks are in. That could mean anything.
Yeah, we didn't and. Gary, I don't think their picks were in as of.
If this whole time they were running an inside joke.
That'd be hilarious.
And at the end of the year, they finally revealed to us, like, guys, like, you never watched the show, so like we just had this inside joke and we just like faked all the picks. And we didn't want to make it too obvious, but we made sure we always won.
They didn't always win. They lost like 1 week, but that would be
like once or twice.
I'd give them props. That'd be a very funny joke.
Might have to. Somebody would have tipped us off.
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't know, man. That I will believe. Those picks are believable. Those picks make perfect sense. Like Brody, he was telling us all leading up to it. The only one that surprises me is that he picked Goose over Sullivan Tipton when he had been riding Sullivan Tipton's high.
Yeah,
he was gassing him up on everything.
Yeah,
and then he picked Aaron Gossage, but he was also very high on Aaron Gossage. So
just too many good players.
They should have just went Goose. It wouldn't matter. They still would beat us.
Yeah,
having Aaron Gossage. I mean, we were never picking Goose.
No,
we were never picking Goose.
No.
You can't blame us.
No.
Oh well. Final thing to talk about real quick is at Worlds, Discmania announced this new plastic line and released some. Obviously, we don't have our hands on it, but Performance reinvented an all-new innovation from Discmania. This is Discmania's premier series. So when I first was reading this, I was just like, oh, okay, Discmania got the Royal line. Like, that's what this sounded like. Sick. Discmania's premier series, whatever. I was like, this is like a C-line hype again, where it's like, okay, they put a different package on Trilogy plastic, but that's not true. So this is it. Their latest advancement features a re-engineered flight plate, allowing them to redistribute up to 10% of the disc's total mass towards the outer rim.
That's a big number.
Unlocking longer glide and extra distance. This is the disc that meets your highest expectations. Once you throw it, you'll see. The Q-Line is Discmania's most advanced plastic blend to date. Denser, stronger, and built for performance. By thinning the flight plate, they needed more of the denser plastic to reach max weight, and Discmania's Q-Line plastic is the answer to that. So the release of it, they had a Premier Series FD and DD3 prototype at Pro World Shop in Nokia on Sunday. And they said later this year, there will be a larger scale release. So this is interesting innovation. When you're looking at the picture, you can see it looks like the flight plate, like it almost looks like it's supposed to be like S-line and the flight plate's real thin.
It like reminds you of like those lightweight DX discs that would come in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very curious to get my hands on this because it's essentially claiming to do what gyro kind of claims to do, of you're able to distribute the weight towards the outside, which helps stabilize the disc and helps maintain RPMs, both of which could lead to farther flight and a different flying flight. That's kind of what gyro's whole thing has been for a long time, and this is claiming to do it without gyro. It sounds like basically they extend the flight plate out, which obviously puts more weight into the rim to get the disc up to the same weight, and to do so you need a denser plastic type. So that sounds like, I mean, it makes perfect sense that this could be a thing and this could happen. It's just a question of, will it actually change the flight?
Hey, I respect the heck out of it because at the end of the day, at least it's something. I like that they're trying to innovate something. I think disc golf companies have been leaning a little more into that, whether cosmetic or this one's actually performance.
Well, what I am excited about here is with MVP, we don't have, you can test the same molds, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't test
this
the
one
gyro.
In theory, we would have like
this is on an FD
comparison.
and a DD3,
Yeah.
so we can go take a C-line FD out and then throw this right against
if
it.
If they're gonna market it this hard and put this kind of effort into it, what it sounds like you'd think they would have some kind of results. Although to be fair, if I'm chief of marketing at Discmania and I actually do have a product that works, I'm going to show you that we threw these two next to each other, and this is how much further it went.
Well, they're not marketing it yet because this was
because if it does work, you should be able to clearly just show us it working. Just be like, hey, look, here is Gannon Burr throwing this one and this one a bunch of times, and look, this one goes.
Because this was basically like they just announced it. It's not available yet. It's coming later this year, but I agree that should be the main marketing. It's just like, look, here's this DD3 for Gannon. It went 500 feet. Here's the DD3 Q line. It went 550 feet.
Because if it doesn't actually, then there's no point. But also, they are going to sell like hotcakes probably.
The first round for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm intrigued.
Good stuff.
So
I'm glad. I like to see it.
There you go, ladies and gents. The World Championships has come and gone. All of the FPO majors are in the books, and Holland Hanley is still searching for that first one. Gannon Burr has done what everyone expected him to do. Owen Scoggins made history. This event made history. One heck of an awesome weekend. And we'll talk to you again very soon.
Recapping the Turku Open.